Tēnā tātou, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. It is 9:30. Could I invite everyone to take your seats, please, so that we may get underway? And when we're all in position, very warm welcome to our kaumātua Tāmei Pokaia, and invite you, Tāmei, please, to open our meeting.
Tēnā koe e te kono matua hou I roto I tēnei tūranga. I just want to welcome you on your new role as one of the first for council. And me ngā mema hou e hui tahi nei ki te whiriwhiri I ngā kaupapa that are here to discuss issues that you canvassed on to get into this whare. When you get into this whare, don't go and change your waka and divert to another place and go to the beautiful islands to sunbathe.
Why
Because you've got work to do. Nō reira e tātua kaharawa koe nei mātou e whakairi ngā ke te kōrero ki te tāhuhu matapu. Kia hora tamarino, kia whakapapa paunamu te moana ka tere, ka rohi I runga I te hira tangata e hi koe ana I runga I te mata o te whenua. Arahi mātou kia pua wai roto I ngā tāonga, manaki tia koeni nāwa e hono I te pō, e tui e whakakotahi I ngā miro katoa, I roto I tēnei whenua ki ana, he ao te aroa. Nō reira tēnei te mihi atu ki aia, me te hunga ko whetu rangi tia ngā mate kei te raro, he te raro, rohe. Me te tangi o ta ngākau ia ata, ka mātakitaki I te pāo, ka whakāta, ka kite I ngā mahi kino I tā wahi. Pahu ana, mate ngā tamariki. Mai mari ana mātau I roto I Aotearoa, ka kite I tērā pauri ta ngākau. Nō reire te atua koe nei mātou I noi kia koe tō mātou piringa I rungi tingo tō mātou kai whakaora. Mā ke ake. Amen.
Amen.
Kia ora, Tāmei, and at the start of this new triennium, could I acknowledge you, Tāmei, for having served for many years as our kaumātua, and the tremendous mana and dignity that you bring to your role. It is always a pleasure to see you at many civic occasions, and your leadership is greatly appreciated. Thank you for gracing this morning's hui. Councillors, a very warm welcome to you all. I was struck as Tāmei was speaking when he commented on the fact that we mustn't leave and disappear on a waka to a more appealing location, because I was looking on the screen at the screensaver, which had a very appealing location. I thought, wouldn't that be nice? And when I looked at it more closely, it was the view from our beautiful new Te Arapekapeka Bridge. And I was reminded that our city is just paradise. So let's enjoy being here. So, do we have any apologies today? I think we have a full complement. There being none, we will move on. As we move to the consideration of confirmation of our agenda, I just want to confirm or clarify for the benefit of anyone who may have been surprised or disappointed by yesterday's newspaper report that this is not a meeting for elected members to debate our pay and conditions. And I don't believe that there is a single member here who would want it to be. It is, however, and this is an important thing for everybody to understand, an important legal requirement at the start of every council term for us to confirm our committee structures and appointments, and we will undertake that item of business shortly. We cannot function fully as we are required to do until we have done that first, and following that we are legally required to submit our proposed remuneration allocation of the pool to the Remuneration Authority, which, as is noted in the council report with your agenda, supplied by our Governance and Assurance Manager, is the independent body set up by central government to set out the process for the approval of remuneration for local government representatives. It is the Remuneration Authority that determines the pool related to the ranking of the council by size index. That's a direct quotation. What it means is by population. And we are New Zealand's fourth largest city. I'm sure that the Taxpayers Union representative knows that we must do that, and that by law the pool must be fully distributed. We have no say in that. and that the system exists precisely to reassure ratepayers and taxpayers that their elected representatives do not decide their own salaries. Those legal requirements are clearly set out on page 14 of your agenda in Diligent and in the Remuneration Authority's Policies, Procedures and Timeline document that is attached on pages 18 to 21. And I just wanted to make that very clear at the outset of today's hui, because it was really disappointing to read an article that suggested that our own pay and conditions were the top of mind for us. They are not. So, with that clarification, we will move to consideration of today's agenda. I have a number of matters and expectations that I want to set out during debate on the Chair's report, so I am signalling to you at the outset that I intend to allow 3 minutes for each speaker if you would like to take it in the debate on the Chair's report. It doesn't mean that you need to, it's just that option will be available to you. Would someone like to move the confirmation of today's agenda, please? Councillor Huata, thank you. That is seconded by Councillor Pike. Many thanks. All in favour, please say aye. Against, no. That is carried. Are there any declarations of interest to be recorded, other than the fact that we all have an interest in the appointments to council committees today? There being none, do we have any speakers today who wish to address us in the public forum? There are none. We are on target to get into the main items of business fairly quickly. I will just remind you, please, that we are required to remain here at the end of today's hui to undertake a brief fire evacuation training procedure. Under Amy's capable direction, it won't take long, but it is a requirement. So, we come now to confirmation of the minutes of our inaugural council meeting, which was held on the 22nd of October, and of course that included the swearing-in ceremony. Would someone like to move that those minutes be adopted? That's Councillor Mead, seconded by Councillor Casey Cox. Thank you very much. I presume there's no need to debate that, so I'll put that motion. All in favour, please say aye. Against, no. That is carried. We come now to consideration of the Chair's report, which is on page 10 of your agenda. Before we move into the debate, are there any questions that anyone has? Do I need to have my seconder now?
You can introduce it.
Okay, because I'm about to commence the debate, perhaps if someone would like to second the Chair's report. Deputy Mayor Taylor, thank you very much. So, no, I've already invited questions. There were none, so we'll move into debate on the Chair's report. Councillors, I won't cover all the matters that are set out in my report, but I do want to repeat my congratulations to each and every one of you for your achievement in being elected to serve as Hamilton City Councillors. It was a very demanding campaign with a large number of candidates, and many capable people were not successful. So you may take great pride in being chosen, and I know that we all want the very best for our city over the next 3 years and beyond. I want to acknowledge our governance team and many other members of staff who supported them to run our local election process. They did so with great dedication and care, and we owe them all a considerable debt of gratitude. Lance, I'd be grateful if you could please convey that message. I noted when announcing the appointments of Councillor Taylor, when announcing the appointment of Councillor Taylor as Deputy Mayor, that I had been spoiled for choice in selecting a deputy. I thank him for accepting the role, and I know that he will bring considerable experience and focus to it. But equally, I was spoiled for choice in selecting chairs and deputy chairs of our committees of the whole and our subcommittees. I congratulate those who have been appointed, and I am sorry that it was not possible to offer more appointments, as every elected member has demonstrated considerable ability and enthusiasm in the first few weeks of our new term. We are very well served by all of you. So while there was a limited number of chair and deputy chair roles to be filled, I want to just reiterate that there are more individual responsibilities to be allocated, and further details of those will be announced soon. Perhaps I spent too many years as a senior government whip, but I felt that the structure and leadership of our information sessions in the previous term were often loose and unprofessional. Attendance was often unsatisfactory, and our subsequent meetings of committees of the whole often covered questions and matters that had already been fully considered by members who had attended. Turning up for work and participating intelligently in all business at hand are core business requirements. They are not optional extras. Run properly and with full active engagement from all members, our briefings and information sessions should ensure that we are better informed about the issues and key decisions that we will need to make prior to the formal committee meetings at which those matters are dealt with. Councillor O'Leary will run all of those meetings in close cooperation with the relevant committee chairs and deputy chairs and staff, with the chairs running them on any occasion when Councillor O'Leary may be unavailable. I'm keen to make it possible for all elected members to propose motions and have matters of concern to them considered for agenda planning purposes, so that we may all be aware in good time of important issues and be able to consider possible motions that we may be asked to debate and decide. I want to comment on new committees and subcommittees reflecting key priorities for our council. Oops, I've already used my time. I might just finish one paragraph if I may and then save the rest for a right of reply. Because it is important that we are now able to address the matters that many of us campaigned on. I'm particularly pleased, for instance, to see a CBD revitalisation team get to work under Deputy Mayor Taylor, a procurement subcommittee, the important work that Councillors Corrales and Huata will lead in finance and assurance and economic growth and so on. Most of our committees of the whole have been restructured after constructive and helpful input from experienced elected members, and we will review these new arrangements to ensure that they're working for us during the term. So I'll leave my opening remarks at that point, but might save one or two others for a right of reply. Thank you for bearing with me. I'll open it up to other speakers, and the next speaker is Councillor O'Leary.
Thank you, Mayor Tim. Look, thank you very much for your first. Can I stand? You don't mind if I'd like to bring that back, that we debate. Optional, but I like to stand. Thank you, Mayor Tim. Look, I really want to recognise the work that's gone into the structure. I've been around and done this rodeo a few times, and I know how much pressure that is for you to get it done and to get it done really quickly. I really like the idea of my new role, particularly if you're going to call it party whip. I've watched enough of Parliament and central government over the years to understand that role, and as we know from a recent councillor induction, I'm a red dot, so give me a task and get out of my way. Thank you, yes, for your Chair's report. In particular, Mayor, I want to acknowledge and be your strongest supporter on the line of and the standard of behaviour and respect that you have laid out from your very first email on the Sunday night when the when the votes were confirmed very late at night, which I did note, and I am going to, as party whip, try and keep you balanced, and I'm sure your deputy will too in terms of a life-work balance. It's important. But from your very first email, you have clearly set out your expectations for this council to hold a very high standard of respect for each other, for members of the public, for staff, in all ways that we communicate, and I am your strongest supporter on that. I recognise that and I thank you for that. So I look forward to many more great Chair's reports that set out the direction and the tone of this new council. Kia ora, thank you.
Appreciate that. Deputy Mayor Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor McIndoe, and thank you for the report and congratulations again. It's great to see you sitting up in that chair. I want to thank the Mayor for the opportunity he has given me to be Deputy Mayor. I'm aware that there are other candidates who were very capable and keen, so I'm gratified to have his faith in me for the job. And I want to acknowledge former Deputy Mayor, Councillor O'Leary. We've swapped jobs in the last few years, who served very well last term, and I look forward to doing the job as well as she did. And I want to congratulate her on her new role, which is well deserved, and I've already found value in that, using her as a sounding board for advice. Congratulations to the other chairs and deputy chairs. I'm excited for you, and I look forward to you embracing your roles. And I want to acknowledge that as inclusive as Mayor McIndoe is, there's just not enough jobs to go around, and some will initially be disappointed. But I want to urge you just to keep the faith, because there's always issues and opportunities that arise during the term as we react to things, government policies, all sorts of things. So things always crop up and opportunities crop up. And the Mayor has sent a strong message about what he expects from his team, and he will lead by example, we know, and I will be absolutely embracing that approach. And if I ever deviate from that, please call me out on that. Election campaigns are election campaigns, but we are now a team, and that is the approach that you will get from me. And as I say, if I deviate, you just let me know, but I won't. The induction has been constructive and warm, but I do sense a real appetite to get on with it. And this council has been elected with a mandate for change, and we have a job to do. We all know that. And I know some of you are very eager to get going, and I look forward to working with you to get some early runs on the board. So with that, I just want to thank the Mayor again and welcome you all. Thanks.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Thompson, please.
Firstly, I want to acknowledge Mayor Tim for all of the work that you've put in to get to this point. It is a huge amount of work, particularly with 15 elected members around the table, to be communicating with all of us and to be working through giving people responsibilities when there are many people with fantastic skills around the table. And I want to particularly acknowledge the words that you've said today and previously around expectations in terms of behaviour. I think it's incredibly important as a council we act in a way that shows respect to each other, to our residents, and in doing that, that is the first part of building a foundation of trust from our residents. Councillor Jeff, I may finally follow your Facebook page. Thanks. But I appreciate your words around working as a team. We've got a fresh start, we've got a clean sheet, and I also really hope that we can work together as a team, work in a way where there are no surprises when it comes to committee meetings, that we put our motions out to people as early as possible, that we work together to try and find compromises where it's suitable, that we genuinely approach things with an open mind, not to win, not to have a win-lose situation, but to ultimately, if we can, have a win-win situation when we come to this chamber. So I really look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Pike.
Thank you, and firstly, congratulations again to you, Mayor McIndoe. As your first big act, I've really appreciated the collaborative approach you've taken in creating the council structure. And as Councillor O'Leary said, the professional and open tone you've set is a positive start and something I look forward to continuing as we get our teeth stuck into some big decisions ahead. Thank you also for the trust you've placed in me by appointing me as community chair. It's a real honour and something I don't take lightly. I also want to acknowledge my deputy chair, Anna Casey-Cox, who I know will bring a wealth of experience and connections with our community. I may be biased, but I do think this is the best committee, and I'm really looking forward to getting alongside our community centres and other strong cultural groups and NGOs who take their time and heart to make Hamilton a better place. Big congratulations to our Deputy Mayor Jeff Taylor and Senior Councillor Angela O'Leary, and to all the colleagues who have taken on leadership roles. As Jeff has said, not everyone could get one, and I know we'd all want one, but whether you're in a leadership role or not, I know each of us will bring a deep commitment to our city and our community and our brighter future for Hamilton. So I look forward to working through that with everyone together and keeping Hamilton and our people at the heart of our decisions. So ngā mihi nui, thank you.
Mōrena e te whare, ki te kotahi te ka puia ka whati, ki te kotahi te kākaho ka whati. Ki te kāpuia e kore e whati. If there is one reed, it can break easily, just like Mark Bunting showed us on Monday with the rods. However, if we bind all those reeds together, they are unbreakable, as we will be as a council. Nā reira, e mihi nui ana koe, kia koe te koro matua. Mea Tim, thank you very much for setting the tone of how we intend to move forward in this next triennium. It is so exciting. I also want to mihi kia koe he te rangatira, taku papa, Tame Pokaia, for opening up our hui today. And as Mayor Tim mentioned, it's almost been 15 years since he has been serving in this position as our kaumātua for the council. And once we have the opportunity to meet with the Queen's Office, our Māori Queen, Te Ariki Nui Queen i ngā Waihonu i te pō, we will see how we will move forward in that space. I want to mihi to all of our fellow kai kainihira as well for the diversity, the skills and the experience and the love that we all bring for our community. People over power, koera te mea nui. Hei whakakapi, I never got the opportunity to mihi to our public and acknowledge the progressive and forward-thinking of Hamilton City, H-Town, Kirikiriroa to retain Māori wards, the only council within the wider Waikato district that has done that. How brave and courageous. We can only be more richer for that. Nā reira, ka waihui konei, I will leave it here and let's have a great first hui.
Kia ora, Councillor Huata. Councillor Corrales, please.
Good morning, everyone. Congratulations again, Mayor McIndoe, on your election to Mayor. I'm just going to be very brief and first of all acknowledge your confidence in me as the only newly elected member to receive a chair appointment, and I thank you for that confidence. You've also made it very clear that this cannot be a business as usual triennium. We have a massive responsibility to our communities around ensuring that rates are affordable and that we manage our debt responsibly. And I look forward to getting stuck into that with you and with the rest of the team. And congratulations to everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. No further speakers? And I will exercise my right of reply, although there's been no dissent, so I imagine we'll take a vote on the voices in a moment. Could I thank the Deputy Mayor and councillors who have spoken for your kind comments and also for the very positive tone that you have all reflected in those comments. I do believe that we've got off to a very constructive start. There will be times of tension, there will be times of division, but this is a very good way of starting, and let this be the default position to which we return. I want to say to anybody who is watching that I have been hugely impressed by the thorough and intelligent approach of elected members during the intensive sessions of induction that we have been undertaking over the past 10 years. We have, 10 days. It feels a bit like 10 years. We have certainly not been inactive. We are receiving a very thorough overview of all aspects of Council's operations, and the questions and observations of elected members have been comprehensive and astute. Well done, keep that up. I thank those who have been leading those sessions, and I also look forward to the opportunity elected members have requested to put forward a wide range of topics for further exploration in an elected member-led session to come. It has been, as I've said, a very encouraging start to the triennium, and I particularly appreciate the warm collaboration that has been apparent during those induction sessions, because I believe it will stand us in very good stead as we work together for the good of our city. Many have commented that this may well be the most challenging triennium that any council has faced for some considerable time here in Hamilton. I think that probably is true, but let's not shy away from the task. So I also wish to thank you all for the support and encouragement you have been giving me as I settle into my new role. As I've said, we do have some very significant challenges ahead of us as we strive to deliver on the matters that we campaigned on, and I note that Councillor Corrales picked up on that point, as we strive to meet the expectations of our residents. So let us make the most of every day as we set out to do just that. Thank you, councillors. I am advised that in adopting the Chair's report, we are also therefore adopting the committee structure and the Remuneration Authority resolution so that that will then go to the Remuneration Authority for formal. So the governance structure is not now. Okay, so we're just, in moving the Chair's report, we are adopting the governance structure. As I say, there's been no dissent, so I'll take that on the voices. All in favour, please say aye. Against? That is carried unanimously. Thank you. So we now need a separate resolution? Or?
No, now we'll move to the next one, which is
All right.
remuneration.
Okay. So we move now to our legal requirement to consider the elected member remuneration policy. That's what you're referring to. You will be aware that an amendment has been proposed to the elected member support and allowance policy that was circulated, I think, to members late last night. Is that available to go up onto the board at this stage?
Yes, absolutely. We'll put up what was circulated last night, and for assistance, we have also got a further amendment.
Which I haven't seen yet.
No,
Okay.
you have not seen yet.
So do we need some explanation of it at this point?
Absolutely. It could be that, so it is Councillor O'Leary that has posed the amendment that you wouldn't have a chance to see, so maybe you could speak to it.
All right, if we could have it up on the board, and then perhaps I'll invite Councillor O'Leary to speak to it.
Mayor McIndoe, I can speak without debating it, of course. I did come in this morning. I only saw Councillor Mead's email on the early hours of this morning. So basically the amendment, I have tried to, Councillor Mead and myself tried to work to come together on this. I have spoken to the CEO around his advice as well. So with that said, and we did have quite a lengthy discussion this morning with a few elected members, I'm still going to test the amendment.
Right, okay.
Sorry, I haven't explained it, have I? Which really just lifts the motion up to a slightly higher level. It still provides a full review. My main concern is that with D in Councillor Mead's motion, which is a suspension of tickets, that you are about to appoint the creative ambassador role, the sports ambassador role, and tickets, because it's Christmas, start flooding in, and that would be captured and those roles would be hampered by that.
Thank you for that explanation, and thank you for the work that you've been doing outside of this meeting to bring us to that point. Are there any questions for the mover of the motion?
Could
Councillor Bidder?
could we take this in part? Would that be cleaner to separate out the remuneration vote from
So you'd like to consider A and B as one part, and then C, the new C, as a separate part?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
makes sense. Thank you, Councillor Bidder. Are there any further questions? You're comfortable with that? You have a question,
Yes,
Councillor
comfortable with that. Thank you, Mayor McIndoe. Just a question to staff, just in terms of the remuneration. We went through quite a higgledy-piggledy process last term. Just in terms of in the report it mentions about backdating. So can we be clear that from today, from Council supporting the governance structure, if the Remuneration Authority even gets to look at it prior to Christmas, is it backdated to today? Or the official results?
No, to today.
To today. Okay, great.
But
But that excludes the mayor's salary, obviously, because
Correct.
that's appointed slightly differently.
Exactly right.
Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. Any further questions for the mover of the motion? Councillor Thompson?
So you go first.
Councillor
Sorry,
Pike.
I just got a question of the movers, just trying to understand the difference between the two. Is one basically that it goes to a briefing before, and the other one that doesn't include a briefing, or it both is and comes through early?
Thank you, Councillor Pike. Mine and Councillor Casey Cox also goes to a briefing for a full review. It just doesn't narrow
So
down
no-
to just looking at costs, it looks at the whole thing.
Package.
And it doesn't suspend tickets between now and when we have that chance, so that new roles that Mayor Tim might allocate
Appoint.
won't get captured up.
Thank you for that. Any further questions, Councillor Pike?
No.
Councillor Thompson?
So with both of these, we're looking at the exact same policy, but one's narrower in scope in terms of, because just looking at Graham's,
If I could
Yeah, it would
assist,
be helpful.
very much both are asking that we don't make a decision at today's meeting.
yeah.
That's quite clear. The significant difference is that when we're looking at the changes, we're looking a little bit wider, yes, but both matters could be achieved through the process that will be followed. The difference, key difference, is what happens between now and that resolution. Tickets in professional development would not be approved under the motion, whereas there would be the option to continue to use the current policy under the amendment.
That's just, in terms of tickets, that's just Claudelands and FMG. I'm just trying to understand. That's not, because it's, if you've got the meteor saying come to an event with us, how is that treated with this?
It's covered by the same policy. So I think what we're trying to achieve is that if there's been invitations already,
Yeah.
then you don't have to turn around and say, no, I can't make it now. And then allows us to have that, also allows us to have that wider discussion about, there might be other matters that some of the elected members might want to bring up at that briefing as well. So just being cleaner. And the other thing around personal development is we've been talking about chairs training and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And I know people probably haven't booked in training or anything within the last 10 days, but it just sort of leaves things open until we have that full discussion and then bring back the policy back to council. But at the end of the day, it's council's decision how you want to go about this.
Thank you. Councillor O'Leary's name is still up there, but so Councillor Mead.
Thank you, Mayor.
This is questions.
Yeah, just questions.
And we'll come to debate
because there's been
later.
a few questions popped out.
Fair enough.
Earlier, I and Councillor O'Leary and myself talked about some changes, and I did suggest a change that at the discretion of the mayor or the CE, up until that time, they could make those tickets available if they needed to, which I thought was an acceptable one, but it wasn't. But for me, that's just answering the questions from there.
Could we have your question, please?
My question
Yeah.
is, I've been a whole lot of questions flying around. The question I've got is, in the past, the transparency of use of these has not been recorded, and that's why this is here. And I want to know why it wasn't recorded as it should have been over the last many years. And that's transparency thing from my community, sorry.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's possibly not a question that the mover of the amendment would be able to answer for you, and it might well be something that we could consider in the wider context of the discussion. The purpose of this amendment is to defer the matter for appropriate consideration. I think probably that would be the time for you to raise that question, because I'm not sure that it will be possible to answer it for you today. Do you have any further questions? No. Okay. No further questions?
Oh, I have a question.
Oh, sorry, you've moved to the other side. Councillor Corrales, thank you.
Thank you. This is a question for Councillor O'Leary. So I understand Councillor Mead is the intent is to achieve greater transparency and accountability around access to some of these things, as well as to explore cost savings where we can. Your proposed amendment, is it your view your proposed amendment would achieve that whilst not stifling council business or elected member representation where that would be beneficial?
That's correct. So my amendment will cover all of the things that, in terms of transparency, accountability, whether we end up having a register with a full review, but doesn't, as you say, Councillor, stymie between now and when that happens. Councillors doing their jobs. We could, Mayor McIntyre, I wonder if we could just simply add a staff action that between now and then we simply send the events that we're going to, if they're ticketed or not, to governance, so that there's a record of it. We can at least start that process.
I think that makes good sense. It's all part of the transparency that Councillor Mead is calling for. Thank you for that. That's a helpful suggestion. Deputy Mayor Taylor.
Thanks, Mayor McIntyre. Just a question to Councillor O'Leary on her amendment. So, as it sits, would that mean that if someone wants to apply for some training in the interim until December the 11th, then they can go ahead and do that and it can be approved? So the training budget could in effect start to be spent during that time?
Yes, and as normally under the policy, it goes through the governance and then the C's office anyway, so there's still that filter. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And there are some tests around that, and in light of the discussions, the intent of the chamber, I'd probably be reasonably robust on the decision-making on that in that period.
Thank you for all of that. Any further questions? So just before we move into debate, do you want us to, would you recommend that we have separate debates, or could we do it as one debate?
You are absolutely able to do it as one debate if you would like to. It might be that there isn't a lot of debate on the remuneration side of it, so we may be able to just make that one.
Perhaps I'll suggest that I'll be fairly lenient and again allow, if requested, up to 3 minutes, but we'll try to consider both aspects in one debate. So I'll open it up and...
Debate, have you? Because I just, it seems to be
I'll allow a
this,
further question.
they're so close.
Yeah.
I'm just, we're just wondering if we can have 3 minutes to ask the mover and the mover of the amendment if there isn't just something where we can merge it. Otherwise, we're really debating on the margins here, and it's not that helpful for our first meeting to be doing this.
Process that's available to us, but I'm happy to stop again if that's your wish.
So are you asking for a short adjournment to do that?
Yeah, just...
I'm happy to adjourn for 5 minutes if you think that that will help us to bring that together in the interest of making sure that it is tidy once we resume. So I'll just... Councillor Mead, you're looking...
Perplexed.
Perplexed, yes, I was going to say perplexed.
It's more the fact of the rationale behind what I'm thinking. Do we get to discuss that as a council, or I get present that?
you still get to
That will be
debate.
during debate.
Yeah.
What Councillor Thompson is suggesting is that we have a very short adjournment just so that the movers of the different amendments can get together to see whether we can be even more streamlined. And I'm happy to allow that to happen just for a few minutes. Councillors, the meeting is resumed, and I thank councillors for the work that has been undertaken with governance and the Chief Executive during the brief adjournment to resolve this matter. I will make the point that it is precisely this type of interruption to meetings that I'm very much hoping we will be able to avoid in future by having more planning going into our agenda planning sessions and preparation, so that these sorts of discussions can happen in good time rather than on the floor on the day of a meeting. Having said that, this is our first meeting and I understand why it has happened. So we now have, I understand the amendment has been withdrawn. You can now see on your screens the resolution that we're now being asked to consider, and we will go to debate in a moment. It is being moved by Councillor Mead and seconded by Councillor O'Leary, so thank them for working together. Do we need to take questions, or have you dealt with all? I think we've dealt with all the questions. Well, I think we've, unless there's a burning question, I think we can probably move into debate. So this is moved by Councillor Mead, and as I've said, I'll be a little bit lenient on time if people feel they need to go over the 2 minutes.
The reason behind this is that the policies before us support allowances, hospitality, professional development and involvement in the community. They may have been set at times with good intentions, but the truth is they need a full and honest review. We can't simply roll them forward without asking, are these events and expenses justified, and are they delivering a value for the people we serve? By deferring adoption today, we're not saying professional development or support for elected members isn't important. What I'm saying is that before we commit, we need to look at the numbers clearly, we need to test the options for saving and transparency, and we need to ensure that every cent spent is defensible to the ratepayer who is footing the bill, if any. Let's be clear, at times these are extras, some of them have been perks, and they're not all services. When residents are struggling with rates and rising costs, it's not time for elected members to be signing off on perhaps free tickets, hospitality or professional development without a proper review at the end of that cost or event. If it benefits for the city, that's great. Let's be there, let's report on it. This amendment's about accountability, transparency and respect for the people of Hamilton. Let's take the time to get it right, show a community that we understood and understand the pressures they face, and we're committed to change where it's needed to make Hamilton a way better place.
Thank you, Councillor Mead. Councillor O'Leary, do you wish to speak as the seconder?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Look, no, wait. Oh, hold please, caller. New glasses and screen that you can go like that. It's fantastic. Look, I fully support the transparency that Councillor Mead is asking for, and I congratulate him for his first motion on the floor. Well done in the chamber. It's not easy to do. Look, I recognise also the need to review this policy, and we're going to do that in a thoughtful, robust way so that everybody has the chance to get their ideas and have their discussion heard. I also recognise, Mayor McIndoe, your comment around not create on the floor. And last term, for many terms, we've often said, let's not design by committee, because as we know, a horse was a, a camel was a horse designed by a committee. And we would be a lot more efficient on this floor and in this chamber if we get more time to hui with each other. Therein lies the problem. I was at dance class last night for 2 hours. Councillor Mead's motion came through to governance at 6:20. I saw it at about 6:20 this morning. So him and I didn't have a chance other than 5 minutes in the chamber this morning. This is a problem, and it's a perennial problem. We get our agendas 5 working days before a meeting. We've got back-to-back briefings lining up. We've got events pulling us in all directions. As a governance wing with our leader, we do not have the time to sit down, to discuss, to think, to chew over things. We have to find that time. We have to carve that time out so that we can do it. I think as party whip that might be one of my responsibilities. So I will be meeting with all of you over the next couple of weeks before we break for the summer holiday to do that, to improve these services and the way that we govern. So thank you, Councillor Mead. I'm very happy to second the motion.
Thank you, Chief Whip. The motion has been moved and seconded. We'll open it up now for further debate. Councillor Huata, please.
Kia ora, I support the amendment as the motion stands, and thank you very much, Councillor Mead and Councillor O'Leary, working together to come to some kind of agreement to move us forward in this space. And absolutely agree with the comments made by Councillor O'Leary in terms of being more prepared. And as these hui go out live, we have public watching us at the moment, so we want to make sure that we are using their time efficiently as well. Transparency, accountability is a must, and that's what all councillors desire around this table. Some context about professional development, that the annual professional development that's allocated to councils around New Zealand averages from 4,000 to 7,000. In the last long-term plan, councillors around the table voted to reduce professional development from 6,000 to 3,000, which it is set at present, which is 1,000 lower than any other council in the country. I am pleased with the amendment because it does allow myself to pursue professional development, which takes place in 2 weeks' time. Should it have not, I wouldn't have been able to attend that, which means I would not be able to do my job effectively as a councillor. So support the review, support the amendment, and support us going forward with this kaupapa. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Councillor Huata. Thank you. Councillor Thompson, please.
Thank you to Councillor Angela and Councillor Mead for pulling together what's a really good motion that we can all support, and acknowledging your comments there, Mayor Tim, around not wanting to have too many motions designed on the floor. And I fully support Councillor Angela's comments that we often end up with our calendars chock-a-block in between when an agenda comes out and when we have our meeting, and having designated time to actually discuss motions would be really helpful. Often people are not looking at their agendas until a couple of days beforehand as well, and we need to ensure that there's time allowed in a calendar that when the agenda comes out, we can read it as quickly as possible and then have those discussions. I know it's not going to always be easy, and I think we will always have some on the floor amendments, because that's, as Councillor Ewan would say, democracy in action. And potentially sometimes you hear from members of the public within the public forum, and we want to respond to that, or issues arise through questioning and we can't curtail the ability to make changes, but overall, ideally, we avoid it. So I think that will take close management. So I'm looking forward to this role of party whip. Thank you.
Councillor Taylor. Councillor McDonald.
Thank you. I just wanted to express my appreciation and support for that motion, because that reflects a lot of what we heard through our travel through the campaign. What we heard from the community is that this desire for transparency, for accountability. So thanks to Councillor Mead for putting that out here for this discussion, for consideration. I also want to speak to Councillor Huata about the comments that you made about honouring the time of our public who are watching this hui, and making sure that we are using that time really effectively. So take on the points of Councillor O'Leary and Councillor Thompson about being prepared and arriving in a space and having the time to do things beforehand, so that we can make sure that we use this time really effectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McDonald. And Councillor Bidder, please.
Thank you, Mayor Tim. Yes, it is clearly best practice to try and get everything resolved well before actual meetings. I just want to note that Councillor Mead had contacted both myself and Jeff Taylor separately over the last couple of days with a bit of toing and froing. And sometimes it is only at a council meeting or committee or briefing that we can get everyone here together. So We will do our best, but occasionally time commitments make it difficult. So Councillor Mead has actually done a very good job. Yeah.
Councillor Casey Cox.
Yeah, just thanking all the people involved in bringing that together, and thank you, Graham, for your passion for transparency. It's really important, and so I appreciate that. And I also appreciate Senior Chair Councillor O'Leary, because to be honest, I didn't pick up on the intricacies of the motion last night when I read it, and it's that experience that we so value about what you bring, so thank you for that. And I just also want to acknowledge that we've got some great staff who can help us understand the value of professional development and what it might add to ourselves and to people generally. I think sometimes we can underestimate the value of that for people's engagement. I was talking with Councillor Corrales about that. The levels of engagement that are enabled through professional development is something that we can discuss in the review. So I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Casey Cox. Councillor Corrales, please.
I fully support the intention and also the motion. I believe that it sends the right message to our communities about accountability and follow through in terms of the things that we campaigned on. And I think it sends the right signal to the people of Hamilton about what is to come. And I'm quite excited. So thank you, Graham, and Councillor Mead and Councillor O'Leary. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor McIndoe. Look, I won't prolong it too much longer, but I'm happy to support this. Thank you to Councillor Mead for pushing this today. This is a new council, and we've got new councillors, we've got new ideas, and we need to welcome that and to respect that. And I think we do need to talk about this policy before approving it today. So this is the right decision. We actually, as a collective, haven't actually sat down and talked about this. Is the training budget appropriate? I'm not sure. I didn't spend mine last term, and I think we do need to relook at it. In terms of events and things like that, I think to me that's quite complicated. I think about the CBD awards last week that I went to, and I had half a dozen terrific conversations with people, all in one place, which were invaluable, and I followed up on a couple of those since. So it's a complicated area, but we definitely need to be accountable for what we go to and what we get out of it. So yes, it's slightly messy, but it's actually a healthy sign, because we're not all sitting around nodding and agreeing with each other from the very start. We're having conversations because we care. So no, well done, Graham, and well done, Angela. It's fine. And I look forward to us getting together and talking about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Pike.
Thank you. Yeah, I will also just be brief, but I did want to thank Councillor Mead for bringing this forward and working together with Councillor O'Leary. I appreciate and support the sentiment that sits behind this motion, and that our public want to see that what benefits are delivered through EM spend and responding to that call from the public for transparency and accountability. So yeah, just really wanted to thank both the members for bringing this forward and testing our thinking. Just because something has always been done like that doesn't mean that it has to continue that way. So I appreciate the questioning and look forward to the briefing and the debate ahead.
Thank you very much. Councillor Mead, do you wish to exercise your right of reply?
Thank you, Mayor Tim. I just want to say thank you for your support and the changes. It's a new day for me, sitting in a council chamber of where we're going, and I'm sure it's going to be like maybe going over a steeplechase, Councillor Sue, or sometimes we're running on the flat. But for me, it's just about giving what our residents wanted, and they said, can we just see what's going on, and can we go do things and then report to them? If it benefits us, great. And I'm all for growing development, growing community, and actually growing friendships with people in the business and the community that's going to benefit from us being councillors. So thank you very much, Councillor Tim and the other members.
We move now to the vote. I think given the unanimity that's been apparent, I'll take it on the voices. All in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? No. That is carried unanimously. Congratulations. Well done. I think that brings us to the conclusion of today's formal business. I will just remind you that we are requested to stay behind, please, for our fire evacuation training. And as is our custom, could we bring up our closing karakia, please?
Tēnei te whakairi, tēnei te whakawātea, haumia e ui e tākie.
Thank you, councillors. We have managed to conduct our first full meeting in just under an hour, which is pretty impressive. That won't happen very often.